Hello and welcome back to Stop and Go F1, everybody's favourite Formula 1 related YouTube channel, and we are now going to talk about that qualifying session that has just gone down there in Saudi Arabia. Before we get there, of course, make sure you click subscribe, that's the rules. But let's break it down, starting with qualifying 1, where the big talking point was Logan Sargeant and his track limits infringement at turn 27. Now, this is strange because you can't break track limits in turn 27, but what they were actually referring to was on the start-finish straight, he kind of drifted over a little bit, went over the white line, and then went onto the straight, which is track limits apparently. It was very unfair for Logan, and he wasn't able to set a time at all after that, which means I get minus 5 points on my F1 fantasy team, but less about that. His lap time that he did set was actually very competitive and was faster than his teammate, and the Williams was looking very good in free practice. So disappointing for Logan that he wasn't able to capitalise on this in qualifying. Hopefully he can do something in the race. Also bad Q1 for Lando Norris. He set a lap time, but his wheel slightly tapped the inner side of turn 27, and then he returned to the pits where he frantically saw the pit crew working on the front left wheel. Not enough time to do so, was not able to set another lap time out in Q1. The people who are out: Yuki Tsunoda, Alex Albon, Nick De Vries, Lando Norris, Logan Sargeant. So not great for Williams, not great for AlphaTauri there. Going into Q2, and this is where the real drama starts, because Max Verstappen is complaining of an engine issue. He's able to drive it back to the pits, but was not able to get back out and do a proper lap, meaning he is out in Q2, meaning he will start 15th place, unless of course they change any major elements on the engine, in which he could start further back or even from the pit lane. But despite this, he seems to be still relatively positive. I mean, a few years ago, if this happened to Max, we would have heard him be quite angry over the radio, but that didn't happen here. Maybe that's because he's driving a monster of a car and he knows that he can do quite well no matter where he starts. Personally, I'd like to see him go from the pit lane and win the whole thing tomorrow. Let's see what happens. Also out in qualifying 2 is Nico Hülkenberg, Zhou Guanyu, Kevin Magnussen, Valtteri Bottas, and then of course Max Verstappen. So it was the Hasses and the Alfa Romeos out in Q2. But we head into Q1, and the big question on everyone's lips is, can Fernando Alonso do it? Can he be the guy to take pole here in Saudi Arabia? Well, at the start, it seems like a strange one because Sainz was on a fast lap, but then got completely blocked off by Russell. Now, I don't believe Russell should get a penalty for this one. I think this is awful track design, where the pit lane, you come out the pit lane, it's a very short pit lane exit onto the track, and when you come out, you're exactly on the racing line. So you're bound to block people. I think it's a bad design. They should really look at that for next year, maybe. So wasn't great there. At one point, it seemed like Stroll was going to be the man to take pole position. He went purple in Q1, went purple Sector 1, had a green Sector 2, but it seems like in Sector 3, the Aston isn't really getting the straight line speed of everyone else, because after Sector 3, he was 6/10 down and didn't go faster than his first time. So obviously something else has happened there as well. But this might be quite bad news for Aston tomorrow if their Sector 3 times aren't good, because that is the main overtaking area, meaning they might not be able to challenge people and they may be going backwards. We'll have to wait and see. Let's run out the top 10 though. It was Sergio Perez who got pole position. Charles Leclerc in second, but he has got his 10-place grid penalty, meaning he will start 12th. Alonso got third, which will be promoted to Aston Martin's first front row start since 1959. Russell was in fourth, Sainz fifth, Stroll sixth, seventh is Ocon. Lewis Hamilton had an awful qualifying, finishing in eighth. Oscar Piastri was fantastic in the McLaren and finished ninth, with Gasly finishing 10th. A very good performance, especially considering what happened to him last time out in qualifying in Bahrain, where he started from the back. So, very interesting qualifying, very entertaining. Big setup for tomorrow now. Can Alonso challenge Perez? Can Aston Martin win this? That'll be the big question. What about Max Verstappen? He'll be starting 15th. What can he do? Can Charles Leclerc make it up through the field? How about those McLarens? Can they finish a race without pitting 6 times? What can Russell do starting from P3? There's a lot of big questions tomorrow. I'm looking forward to the race. Should be a good one. I'll be here after the race to talk about it with you. I hope you'll be here too. Until then, make sure you subscribe. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.